Okay, I'm going to show you how to find your own S-Class multi-tool. This does take some time, and I highly recommend multitasking with this, and I'll explain more on that as we go through the video. But just take a look at this. So I kind of jumped into the middle of a galaxy and just started jumping around to see if we could find an S-Class multi-tool cabinet. I'll show you guys how this works as we go through the video. But as you can see, it takes quite a few jumps to find one. You want to make sure you're targeting 3-star systems, as that significantly increases your chances. In fact, it doubles it from 2-star to 1-star, and it's something like 0.01% on a 1-star economy. If you can't see the stars that we have here, that's because you don't have the economy scanner. You get that from the Nexus. It's not too difficult to install, so I highly recommend unlocking the Nexus if you haven't already, and make sure you have that installed, because that is going to make this significantly easier for you. So you're going to want to jump from system to system, and well, at least in my opinion, that's one option. There is a secondary option, but I'll show you guys that as we go around. And then once you get into a system, obviously I have one that is predetermined here because I've already found one, which took a while. So we're going to head on in, and I'm just going to show you guys the S-Class in the cabinet right now. So you're going to run on in. I highly recommend doing this with something like your money bus. So if you've been following the series and you've got a bus full of cobalt like I do, bring it around. You can easily get yourself into the billions. We're on like 3.5 billion after me doing this. Make sure you kind of come over here. So if you haven't maxed out your exosuit slots, make sure you're doing that as you're looking around. Highly recommend just making sure, you're getting as much out of doing this as you possibly can. See these orange cubes? These have navigational data in them. If you don't know that, make sure you take those. Sometimes they also have nanites that can also be useful, so just make sure you're on top of that. And then you come over to this and you're like, yay, I find myself an S-Class cabinet. But maybe you don't like the rifle that's in here. Now, you could just take this one. This one obviously is a rifle, it's not too bad. We're just going to take it for granted that S-Class equals better stats than lower classes. But let's say you want to shop around a bit, you want to see what else you can put in here. We can change the weapon that is inside that cabinet. So, we are going to go in the ship, and let's just go into, I should say, go and land on the nearest planet. So we're just going to head on out of the hangar. See the big planet right in front of us? We're going to go ahead and we're just going to land on it. We're going to create ourselves an autosave, and we're just going to load that autosave that we've just come onto. This is going to change the pool from which the cabinets are drawing their multi-tools. And what I mean by that is, so each body within the system, and that includes the actual space station itself, has its own pool of multi-tools from which it can draw. Now, the thing that dictates the class of the multi-tool that gets displayed there is the case. So the case itself is an S-Class case, and then we have different multi-tools within the system that will be displayed depending on which planet you're on. So when we go back now, we'll see a multi-tool, or should I say the highest class multi-tool, displayed as an S-Class from the planet that we just landed on. And so as we can see now, as we come back over here, we've switched out to a more garish looking, blue and orange looking rifle. And we can change this for each planet that there is within the system. Now this rule applies to any cabinet, so depending on how it is you like to find your cabinets, you could also do this in basically any system. So instead of let's say, you don't like the idea of planet hopping, you could instead decide to use the commercial cartographic datas. So we can do this a different way. So if you have the navigator, you can go and see the cartographer who's just over up in the corner there, and then we can pop these until we see a minor settlement come up. I got it straight away there, that was real lucky, and that's come right up for us. So we can go and visit that now, and we can basically go and do the same thing, but within the same system. So let's say, I don't know, there's a system you plan on having your base in, and you really want to get it discovered. You want to have a real good look around, you want to make sure your name's on everything, maybe that's something that you want to do or care about. We can now go over to this minor settlement instead. We'll go and visit this now. That doesn't want to let me boost right now, let's go forward. So when we arrive, and they always have these landing pads, I overshot because I'm a terrible driver. They'll always have a landing pad out the front to land on there, and then we can head on in, and inside we'll have a cabinet. So in this particular case, I got a C-class cabinet. That's not going to be good for me, but something that you can probably see here, right? So the space station is also its own pool. So if I reload from my autosave right now, this will probably change. Let's give that a test. And so here we can see that the previous weapon was loaded in from the space station that we were at, and then actually this planet's C-class multi-tool looks more like more like that. So that's how we find cabinets. That's how we change the weapons that are within cabinets. So hopefully that helps you in tracking down your own S-Class. In addition, there is a third way that is worth talking about. And the third way really is, or should I say, should be reserved for if you see a multi-tool that you just really cannot live without. Now, of course, that isn't this multi-tool. I'm just going to use a random example here. This is a B class, right? Let's say you really have to have a blue and yellow rifle. You just have to have it. You can't keep on messing around. You're bored of farming for them. You could take this one, okay, and you can bring it over here, and you can upgrade this for nanites. Now, this is expensive, so bear that in mind. So to upgrade a C class, this is for the standard one, it's going to take me 10,000 nanites. In total, to get all the way from C class to S class, it's going to cost you 85,000. But in my opinion, with how long it takes to roll an S class cabinet, it may even be quicker, because you can scrap ships real quickly and sell the modules to get yourself nanites, and at the same time you could be upgrading the storage in your ship, for example. You could be doing anything. In addition, you can also do things like running the freighter missions, which we'll be doing pretty shortly. That's why we're getting a better multi-tool right now. And you'll be getting nanites from doing that anyway. So it's up to you guys if you want to like push out and make sure you get an S-Class. I've done it for the sake of the video, obviously. An A-Class or a B-Class, which you'll see way more of, is just as acceptable. And will definitely work for the next episodes in the series. The next one, we're going to be actually upgrading the S-Class rifle that I've gotten. Unfortunately, I had a recording issue, so hopefully it's still understandable. But yes, so that is how you get yourself a better or even an S-Class multi-tool. I hope that helps you out, and I'll see you all again soon.